Good evening and welcome to the Bitter Knitters podcast. It is Monday, April 1st, 2019. We are the Bitter Knitters. My name is Jacqueline and Arthur's here.
Hey.
We're not going to pull an April Fool's Day prank. I hope Arthur's not. They're so lame.
No, I'm not big on that kind of shit. Like, you know what I mean? I kind of find April Fools to be a waste of fucking time and effort.
I love a good prank, but I just find them like so, just stop.
Yeah, right?
Just stop. You know, it's just like, and then all the businesses do their April Fool's Day. Like I saw the pizza chain, Dr. Oetker, the pizza line. Oh, we're going to have spinach crisp pizza. I'm like, that doesn't even sound like a prank. That sounds like something you would do.
Right?
Like all these healthy people, like just.
No, it's a waste of fucking time.
Yeah. Yeah. But I didn't really see any of my personal friends that I could tell.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you always have these pranks like, guess who's having a baby? Guess who's, won the lottery? Nobody did that stuff. So that's, I guess, okay.
I don't know. Like, faking a pregnancy to me isn't a prank. Like, that's not a prank. That's
stupid.
You're actually just being very fucking arrogant. You know what I mean? Like, because then it's just like, oh, it was a big joke. And then you might have a friend that can't have kids, that wants kids.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, well, thanks a lot.
Or somebody just had a miscarriage. Right? And I mean, I know we don't have to, like, coddle every person in the world, but we should be sensitive to people we know in real life, right?
I mean, you would hope,
Yeah.
And like
I'm not gonna be like, April Fool's Day, I have cancer. Like you're not gonna be like that, right?
Oh, that'd be fucking terrible. That'd be so fucking terrible.
Oh my god, should I say something? Sister Patty, I'm sorry if you're listening today, but I have to say something that happened that made me laugh hysterically this morning. So I noticed that a shared mutual friend posted about somebody I don't know had a mild heart attack and asked for prayers.
Okay.
And something happened with Sister Patty's, I'm going to guess, cell phone, but she posted like 15 times a laughing emoji.
Oh, amazing.
And then she's like, I'm sorry, I don't know what happened. But I was just like literally tears streaming down my face laughing. I'm like, that is so like an article you'd see on BuzzFeed. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God.
Yeah, fuck.
I love you, Patty. And that's the only person who, well, I shouldn't say the only person. I got a couple little souvenirs for my kids, but we lost one of our little shopping bags in Iceland, so my daughter didn't get her souvenirs. But Sister Patty got all her souvenirs from me. So good for you, Sister Patty.
You know me, I don't do the souvenir thing. Like,
I didn't spend a ton, but I saw something I knew Patty would like, and my kids asked for shot glasses. I brought them home some chocolate for Logan to try and stuff.
Nice.
Nothing like, I didn't buy like, a $75 sweatshirt or anything stupid.
See, I'm actually kind of surprised that you guys didn't, because they're really fucking nice. Like, it took us a lot in Iceland to not spend money on the sweaters and stuff, because they're really, really fucking nice.
They're beautiful, but I'm just like, I can't. I know my biggest problem with them is they were itchy, and I knew that I would never 100% wear it because I don't like to be hot, and I don't like to be itchy. So I was like, I'm not going to spend my money on this sweater that I know I'll never wear. I'll just have it to be like, I got this in Iceland.
Yeah.
So.
But I'm glad you guys had fun. I'm glad you guys did it. You know what I mean? Like, it's
glad I didn't fly Wow Air.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you would have asked me even before you guys like were dead set and you were booking, I would have told you to avoid them. You know what I mean?
I'm kind of nervous about any real discount airlines. I mean, if I was in Canada, it would be maybe a little different. Because if I'm trapped in Canada, I'm trapped in Canada. I can get I can get a bus, I can get a train, I can get home somehow.
Yeah.
But I'm a little hesitant about a discount airline in a foreign country.
Yep. Yeah. So. But even when I first started hearing about them and I was looking at what they were doing, I was like, this is not going to last. Like, you guys are not going to last.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate because I know a lot of people ended up stranded.
Oh,
Luckily enough, Icelandair was kind enough to book them on some of their flights.
Yeah. Yeah. We were talking to one of the guys that worked at the hotel desk, and he was saying, it was really, because even on Thursday, because our tour on Wednesday, they said, oh, it looks like the Wow Air deal is going through. And then Thursday morning we woke up and it was done. But the guy behind the desk, he said that I guess they had a deal a while ago with Icelandair. And then the owner of Wow was like, no, I'm going to try to get a better deal with somebody else. And when that fell through and he went back to Icelandair was kind of like, F you.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense.
So, yeah. So he kind of did to himself being a little greedy, right?
Yeah. Well, again, I'm glad you guys went. I hope you caught the traveling bug. You know,
Oh yeah.
it's not as daunting as you think. Like, and you know, I think it always takes just that one time. You just got to go through the airport. You got to do the security. You got to get on the airplane, and then you get to your destination. You go, well, yeah, this was all fucking worth it.
And like I've never planned a trip like that, and literally everything I planned out went without a hitch. So I can plan a trip again. So I think we're looking at Ireland and Scotland in a year or two. So
right on. I enjoyed Ireland, Scotland. I haven't been to yet, but I'm sure it's a fucking blast as well.
Yeah. So I mean, we did my dream. Now we'll go and do Scott's dream. So, but Scott his mind was blown by Iceland too. He's like, he couldn't believe he never would have thought of going there. So he's really happy that he went there.
It is beautiful. Beautiful.
You just look out your window, and you know when people say it's now. I only was like in the southern area because it was still wintertime. I couldn't get to north.
It's inaccessible right now.
Yeah, so I mean, we may go back in 5 years in the summertime, so I can go up and see. That I can't see any of the places other than like Gullfoss and Reykjavik and Vik.
Yes, no,
those are the 3 places I can say.
I was very upset myself that I couldn't make it to Akiri. Akiri is definitely one of the places that I've wanted to go ever since I kind of started dreaming about Iceland as a preteen.
Yeah.
But it was the same thing. We were there just as the snow was melting, and a lot of the access roads up north, you were not getting through them. Like there's no way you were going to get through them. And so
we were driving over. I guess like you drive over the mountain.
Yep.
To get into the lower region there.
Yep.
And it was a fairly nice day, and all of a sudden, whiteout. Literally, I've never been in a whiteout in Canada, in Ontario. I've never been in a whiteout because I've been terrified of them. I won't drive on the highways and that kind of weather. Whiteout conditions, and I thought to myself, how do these crazy tourists come up here and drive on these roads in this condition in 2-wheel drive, and then you see all these cars covered in snow along the side of the highway, and I'm like, oh, that's how these tourists do it.
Yeah. Oh man, like. It was an experience for us. Like I'll tell you that much. Like because we decided we were gonna go as far north as we could the first fucking day we got there, and it was a bad day for the wind. Like it was a bad fucking day for the wind. And I hope you got to experience Icelandic wind because it's fucking terrifying.
I literally needed my puffer after visiting Gullfoss, not going down, and it wasn't even the stairs. I got to the top of the stairs at Gullfoss, and the wind was just blowing hail into my face, and I could not catch a breath.
Yeah, it's fucking horrendous, but it's part of the experience, right?
Yeah.
And like I remember when we got home, and I was saying to Liz, I'm like, I'm so glad that I got to experience that fucking just terrifying Icelandic fucking wind because it's something that I've heard about, since I started, wanting to go to that place.
Yeah, it's incredible. And, just driving in, you're driving in you're coming from the Blue Lagoon into Reykjavik, and you're looking at just these fields of lava, so black lava covered by this green moss. And it really does look like if you were going to be on an alien planet.
Yep.
That's what it looks like. You're like, how does that exist in any world?
So like we were coming from the north into Thingvellir Park, which is the large national park there, right? And we had to cross through the interior of the island, and it's 1 second you're in these insane lava fields, just crazy lava fields, and then you go over the next ridge and it's just tundra, and then you go over the next ridge and there might be some trees or some small farmland. The topography of that island is absolutely stunning. And again, I'm just so happy you guys went. Like I really am. I'm so thrilled.
Really love it. I've already been on Airbnb looking at Ireland Airbnbs, so just putting in my dream spots to start with. I have no idea yet when we're going to go or what our budget will be, but just, getting some ideas of things. Yeah.
How did you find the conversion, the money?
You know what? I kind of just did it like this. Like if something was 10,000 ISK, I just said that's about $12 Canadian.
Okay.
So just kind of figured it like that.
I needed everything to be explained to me in euro, so I wasn't fucking getting lost.
Oh, I couldn't do that. Don't put another money into there.
Well, once they were like, "Oh no, we prefer the Icelandic krone," I was like, "No, man, we're doing this in euro because I understand the conversion rate in euro. Like this is what I'm comfortable with."
Well, what they did, how we figured it out, because on the plane, Scott got 2 beers, right? Yeah. So when we got off and we looked at our credit card to see what came up, it was like 900 for a beer, 900 kroners for a beer, and it was like 10 something. So I'm like, okay, so about so I just kind of figured it like that.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. Again, I'm so thrilled you guys went. All the pictures were
fantastic.
Great. I'm
and you
happy.
can't take a bad picture.
Well, you
Like,
can because the
literally-
tourists, right? Like,
Oh, yeah.
that was my thing. Like, I was so impressed with a lot of Scott's pictures because
Good
there
job.
weren't fucking tourists in them. And
Yeah.
how'd you do it? Because I couldn't fucking
I
do it.
have no idea. He
You
went
know?
right, like, I mean, honestly, like, we got to, oh God, I don't even remember what it's called, like Snellfoss. Is that a place?
Yep.
Is that the one with like the big one and then 3 little ones off to the side?
That's Seljandafoss.
Yeah,
That's
that
the one you can go behind. Yeah.
Yeah. So Mom and I kind of stood by the parking lot, took pictures because the wind was so intense. It
Yeah.
was blowing the water and it was hailing at the same time. And I was like, you know what? This is good enough. I'll take my pictures from here. Scott went right up there and he got soaked. And so, I mean, he got good pictures because he was a little more risk taking than I was.
Yeah. I got to sleep under that fucking waterfall and it was amazing.
Oh,
yeah.
amazing.
Ben, I'm pumped you guys went. I really am.
Yeah.
Like, it was
Yeah.
great. I'm happy Scott pulled the Arthur and he was trying the local cuisine. You know what I
but
mean? I'm very
I'm
happy
not
he did that.
surprised because he would try anything that's
Right.
not gravy and pork, right?
Right?
So,
I'm just so happy that there's another person in the family, though, that's as adventurous as I am.
he was
that'll-
so upset he couldn't get horse because
Yeah.
we went to the restaurant and our guide was like, "Oh yeah, they have horse on the menu there," and Scott's
Yeah.
like, "Awesome!" And we had 3 Chinese students that were in our group with us, and they
Yeah.
wanted to try horse. Well, they've had horse, but they were going to have the horse, but
Yeah.
they were out. I'm like, "How are you out? Just go outside and kill
Right.
a horse at the field there." But I guess next time he'll try horse.
So you guys didn't have the chance to, eh?
No,
Aw,
no,
that's
they didn't
bad.
have any. So he got duck, which he's had
Okay.
many times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, I'm still jealous you got to try the puffin. That was the one thing I couldn't. They just didn't find a restaurant that served it, and I was
Yeah.
kind of upset that I didn't get that. But-
Yeah, he lucked out because that restaurant had kind of like they called it the Icelandic menu, I guess,
Yep.
because they had the puffin, the whale, and they had like an Icelandic skyr for dessert.
Yeah.
So that's what he had.
But yeah, no, I was very happy to see that because I don't know, like I have a few other buddies that have went to Iceland and none of them would try the local cuisine because I think it's fucking weird, right? And
Yeah.
you know me with my whole like the art of breaking bread. Like if you're at someone's traditional homeland, you
Yeah.
eat their fucking traditional foods.
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
what you do, you know. But yeah, no, I was jealous.
I lost 8 pounds in Iceland. And it wasn't that the food was, like, I mean, I had like normal stuff, French fries, hamburgers, stuff. There wasn't a lot of taste. They don't season their food.
No.
Not even salt and peppers in a lot of their food.
No. I mean, again, like I'm sure you noticed it, but hot dogs are the big thing. They fucking love hot dogs. Like you cannot go to
Mom
a
ate
gas
one of
station-
them, didn't like it. Scott never got one.
No, I thought they were fine. Like I thought
Well,
they
they
were
were all
fine.
wrapped in bacon, so Scott never
okay.
tried one, right?
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, I thought they
Yeah.
were great. But yeah, no, it's again, I'm just really happy you guys did it.
Yeah.
Like I really
Yeah.
am, and
It was good.
I know the feeling that you guys had coming home. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I get it. It's your first trip. And now the world's open to you because it's not
Yeah.
as scary. It's not as daunting.
Yeah,
to
and even the plane, like the plane there.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Scott's like, and he's freaking out, he's holding his heart, and I'm like gripping Mom's hand, and and then I thought we landed, and then I heard this jolt, and I'm like, Jesus, and Mom's laughing, people behind us are laughing. The plane ride coming home, even if it was daytime, and I could see, not nearly as scary going up or landing at all. So
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
again, you'll experience some turbulence regardless going across the
you
Atlantic.
didn't have too much either way, just a little shaky, but nothing like jolting.
No, like you're going across the Atlantic. It's very
Yeah.
cold. The air starts to get thin. It's going to happen. If you guys are going to do a direct flight to Ireland, you're going to notice it. Like you're going to fucking notice it.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, I love it. I love it. Like I kind of let go of the seat and fucking pretend I'm on a roller coaster. Like
I'm
I get a
definitely
kick out of
doing
it.
direct. I'm never going to do a layover. From all the people I knew, like I met on planes and in the airports, asking questions about where to get their luggage, where to go. I'm like, I'm never doing that. I'm going to do direct. I don't care if it costs me more money.
So I'll do layovers all the time. I don't give a shit. Like I
Yeah.
really don't care. I've done the layover in Boston. Didn't have to care about my luggage. I've done a layover in Iceland. Didn't have to give a shit about my luggage. They just do
Yeah.
it for you, right? As long as
Yeah.
you're not taking a budget fucking airline. Taking
Yeah.
a budget airline is a little bit different, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
no, I mean, again, I understand that you don't really have much experience with airlines,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
Iceland Air is one of the best ones, and I
Oh,
like.
you know what? It was great. And I went on to TripAdvisor because I was just looking to see and just seeing some of the comments from people that had been fucked over by WoW. And now they're
Yep.
piling that onto Iceland Air. And I'm thinking,
Yeah.
like, they don't have to guarantee you a seat at $60, buddy. I'm sorry if it
Nope.
cost you a lot, more money than you were expecting, but that's not Iceland Air's fault.
Exactly, right? Like, and like I said to you before you left,
Yeah.
when you're traveling, everything is out of your hands. You don't have the right anymore to bitch. If the airline, like, you know, when I was going down to see my sister and they canceled my flight 15 minutes before it was going to take off, there's nothing I can do about that. There's no recourse. You know what I mean? So, like, even getting online and bitching and leaving a bad fucking, like, you're not doing anything except for maybe making yourself feel a little better. You know what I mean? Like, it's accomplishing literally nothing.
But and then, like, I'm seeing people complaining that, you know, well, I only brought my Bluetooth headphones and they wanted to charge me headphones. Well, like, do you think stuff is for free?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Oh, they don't even offer you food. I'm flying overnight. Well, it's a 5-hour flight. Why should they offer you a meal? Like, buy it. Like, sorry, I'm not trying to be a bitch, but, like, I knew. I read everything. I researched. I read. I asked. I knew that nothing was for free except for drinks. Right. You know, sorry about you're unable to research for yourself. You know what I mean?
Entitlement. And I've expressed this almost at the end of every trip. But every time when I get home, I always have some story of some entitled fucking moron just being an idiot. You know what I mean? Believing that they deserve more than honestly what's realistic to get. You know, you do not deserve free food. Like, where the fuck is that written? Well, are you kidding me?
Like, I don't know what they paid for their tickets, but I mean, I paid there and back plus 3 nights in a hotel, and we paid less than $900 each.
Nice.
Am I expecting a meal? No, I'm not.
Right? No, it's I hate people.
Oh, I know. Just some of the things that even like the Bubble company sent me a message and asked me to leave a review. Like, of course, I'd already left a review on TripAdvisor and Google. And just reading some of the people, like this lady's complaining that she's with a friend who has cancer and they won't let them just come to the Bubble and not do the tour part. Well, that's part of their thing. Like, sorry about your friend has cancer. That's very sad. But just because she has cancer doesn't mean she should get to go outside, you know, the companies.
The parameters. You know? Like, it's again, it all comes back down to entitlement. And people, for some reason, believe that if they pay the smallest bit of money, that they're entitled to fucking switch everything up. And you're not. Like, you're not.
Are like, oh, there wasn't any food to eat at the Bubble. Well, you know what? It tells you that in the introduction page to the Bubble that they take you for a meal before they drop you off, and there's nothing there. There was nothing to do all night long except sleep or look at the stars. That's the point.
Right? Right? Like, what, you expect them to have a fucking, like, amusement park for you? Like, fuck out of here.
There was no Wi-Fi. I had to share a washroom in the bunkhouse with people. Well, there's like 8 Bubbles in total. So it's not like you're sharing a bathroom with like Disneyland. Do you know what I mean? Like,
you're not at some fucking hostel, because I've done that, and that's no fucking fun.
You know, I can't believe, like, if you read any of the information on the page, because before you even go to, like, you know, book a trip now, it has all that information. I knew ahead of time that there was a bathroom in a bunkhouse that wasn't at my Bubble. I knew that the Bubble was outside and there was only blankets to keep you warm, plus whatever little bit of heat they pump in there. Like, I just can't believe how stupid people are.
Oh, I can. I absolutely can.
You're spending out, like, you know, it was very expensive for that Bubble. And before you put your money out, you didn't read the whole page. You're dumb.
Right. How'd you find the Blue Lagoon?
You know what? The thing about the Blue Lagoon is it was nice. It was beautiful. We went and the wind was blowing sideways into our eyes. And I don't even know if it was rain or just blowing up the water from the Balloon Lagoon.
Yeah, possibly.
My eyes were burning. So I had to walk backwards. It wasn't even that it was cold. It just was, the wind was intense. So Scott and I spent most of the time in one of those little kind of made caves, you know? And it was nice. We were in there for about an hour and a bit. Mom left early because she was just too cold. The Secret Lagoon is much warmer. But Mom and I didn't stay in the Secret Lagoon nearly as long because it started to hail. And it hurt. It hurt. Todd stayed out there the entire time. I was like, I'm peacing out because I cannot be, you know, hit with frozen chunks of hail.
Well, Scott's fucking wild, so that doesn't surprise me. That doesn't surprise me at all.
He wasn't even, the day before we went there, he's like, I'm not even going to go swimming tomorrow. I'm like, well, I'll bring your bathing suit just in case. I didn't even get out of the water.
Right?
Like Logan, my son, whenever I take him, I'm not going. Why are we doing this? This is dumb. And then he can't get him out, you know?
That's great, though. I'm really happy you guys had a good time. I really am. And you sound just like everyone else that gets home from Iceland. You want to go back, right?
I would definitely go back in a second.
my sister and brother-in-law are planning on going back this year because they loved it so much. You know what I mean? Like,
before we even left the hotel, can I tell you? And that's, you know, I'm reading horrible reviews about the hotel as well. I have nothing but good things to say about them. They stored our luggage overnight while we went to the bubble.
Okay.
We got back at like 10 o'clock in the morning. Our plane wasn't until 5 in the afternoon. They let us hang out in their lobby all day using their Wi-Fi. The manager offered me drinks for free, you know, like fantastic.
Yeah.
But I'm sitting there and I'm looking through my emails and I get an email saying that you can win a chance for a trip to Iceland for 5 days. So of course I'm like, sign up. And then I'm looking at the price and it's for the hotel stays in the hotel I'm literally sitting in the lobby of. So I'm like, amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great though. I'm really glad you guys had fun. Like I really am.
Yeah.
So what really happened was Jacqueline was a part of an Islamic terrorist group. And she was actually.
Now when I try to fly again, I'll be on some watch list.
Can I just rant about what happened to me really quickly?
Of course.
I was outside of my job, waiting for my Uber to take me home because I'm a celebrity.
Of course.
And this guy went from 1 minute away to 25 minutes away. He didn't want me to cancel. We had a screaming match on the phone. I was stuck for 15 minutes, so I finally.
Side job on the side, or.
Well, I don't know. And so I finally swallowed my pride. I took the cancellation fee, called Uber, and said to Uber, I have been waiting outside of my job for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
This guy fucked me over, blah, blah, blah. So they're refunding me. I just got home. It explains why I'm late.
Oh, I thought
just
you were
wanted to say,
still. Oh,
you thought I was what, you bitch?
Turning trick still.
Well, I'm trying to.
Yeah, that's, you know, and this, can I say this about this? Now, this was I don't know if you guys saw this story, but I saw it a lot on my Facebook page. The story about the girl in the States who got into what she thought was an Uber and got murdered.
Oh yes.
Everyone kept saying woman mistakenly gets into Uber and is murdered. And you know what? Like stop. I feel like the headlines are kind of blaming the girl for making a mistake. Like it's, you know, if you get into the wrong car, you shouldn't have to be murdered. The murder is on the murderer. It's his fault.
Well, but it's a little bit different in New York City. So I don't know if this exists outside of New York City. But in, again, New York City, the 5 boroughs, Manhattan, Queens, Brooklyn, the Bronx, Staten Island, even though I don't want to count Staten Island, you know your Uber is an Uber because their plates are TLC plates, taxi, limousine, commission plates, where in other states or even outside of New York City, aka Long Island, it's regular plates.
Okay, I know here. I've only been in Uber twice here in Toronto, but it tells you the license plate number of the Uber you're taking. So I've never quite understood how people do, because I've heard other stories how people have gotten into the wrong Uber or whatever. I don't know, maybe because I'm a paranoid person. Maybe drunk because you're coming home from a club after or something, you know? But it's scary. Let's talk about a big story that's happening here. I don't know how long we'll talk about it. I'm sure Arthur will have a rant about it. Today is day 1 of the legalized, open, free market cannabis shops opening up here in Ontario. Toronto has only 1 opening today. There's supposed to be 5. Did you hear the fines? Every day that those other 4 stores do not open, it's $12,000 a day fine.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
I'm so upset with my fucking provincial government with this shit. Like, I really am. They fucked up so much stuff. Everything was working. The fucking dispensaries were working. Why would they come in and try to fuck with it the way they have? I don't get it. I hope this blows up in their fucking face. Like, I honestly do hope fucking legalization fails here in Ontario.
As angry as I was at the Liberal model with having their cannabis control stores, at least they would have been opened and we knew where they were going to be.
Right.
You know, like, I don't know. And I was happy that the PC government was going to allow a little bit of an open market, but they really screwed the pooch on this.
They fucked this whole thing up. They fucked it all up. And I mean, again, like, I'm a fucking cannabis user. Like, a lot, you know what I mean? And I refuse to fucking use my legal fucking cannabis. I won't do it because I can't support.
Think about it. Who's going to travel? Now, the only one is downtown Toronto right now.
Yeah.
So, like, somebody like me I'm the very eastern edge of Scarborough, right? You can't there's only like another 10 minutes east of me for the edge of Toronto. I'm going to travel downtown in a car or in a bus The bus is going to take me an hour and a half to get there. And from what they were saying on the news this morning was that they only get 25 kilograms a week.
Yep.
And that even in Alberta, where they get a little bit less, they're sold out on the day they get the delivery.
Yep.
What the frick? So I they get delivery on Monday and I show up on Thursday. There's nothing there. So I've wasted 3 hours of my life.
Yep. No, the whole thing's a shit show. It's an absolute fucking travesty how they're doing this, because they tried to follow the LCBO model, and you can't fucking do that because marijuana has been established for a lot longer than, I can't say, established a lot longer than alcohol, because alcohol is obviously why we're agrarian, but the alcohol structure and how we bought it was already in place, you know what I mean? And marijuana with the black market, that shit was already in place. So 90% of your cannabis users were used to being able to get our fucking product when we want our product. And this is just not working. It's not.
Well, and to punish, I get the stores that are pre-existing.
Yep.
We're breaking the law. I get that. But to then say, we'll never give you a license because you were breaking the law. But these stores are established. They have a clientele. They have a flow. And they're, I've never been in one, but from everything I've ever read or saw, they're really professional.
Yeah, they're fucking so good. They have the product, they have the knowledge. Like you want to talk about medicinal benefits? Those are the places you go, not to some fucking asshole fucking government run nonsense. These people don't know shit. It's literally just for the fucking money. It's only for the money, and that's a thing where I'm starting to get really fucking ticked off.
And how these the 5 companies or the 5 businesses that did get granted the license in Ontario and Toronto initially immediately were contacted by huge business groups.
Huge. Fucking
I should have, I said I should have just, spit out the money and tried to get in the lottery, because I wouldn't even have had to do anything. I could have handed that all over to a business and just had $20 billion in my bank.
The unfortunate part is we wouldn't have the fucking capital to even fucking throw in a bid.
Yeah.
It's the whole thing's just a fucking mess. It's a goddamn mess. Yeah. I'm really hoping that the natives on the reserve land are going to utilize their fucking rights and just start opening them without the licenses, because they're allowed to. Like, they can do whatever the fuck they want, and I would just love to see the influx of people going up to the reserves to buy tax-free fucking weed that the government can't fucking put their hands into, just to say fuck you. Fuck you.
Although the government will do, because now if you get caught with Indian cigarettes, native cigarettes, you get in big trouble, right?
The rules in that are kind of foggy. It's a little weird because it has a lot to do with quantity and what it is you're buying.
Okay.
Right. And for the most part, as long as it has that little yellow sticker that says taxes were paid, the cop can't do a fucking thing. Like, I've been pulled over and had my pocket searched, and I've had native cigarettes on me. They can't do shit. It's got the fucking taxes paid for sticker. Blow me.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, it's a shit show. I'm sure Arthur and I will have more to rant about this as it comes up. But
I'm not happy.
I hope Scarborough gets one, because I would like to be able to go in and kind of check one out and talk to them and see. Because I'm not an expert by any means, but I want to know if they can teach me anything and see what their people are like, right?
Well, I don't even think that's going to happen though, because the people, the young men and women that were working at the dispensaries, the ones that actually had the knowledge, they're undesirable. You think the government wants them working at their legal dispensaries? Well, no, because their faces are tattooed,
right? Dreadlocks.
Exactly. They have a criminal record, so they don't qualify for working with us. But this motherfucker's been growing pot in his basement for 30 fucking years, and it's bomb. Like, that's the guy I want to fucking listen to, not Doug Ford. Like, you want to tell me what fucking good buck of beer's out there? Maybe I'll listen, you fat fuck. But until then, shut your fucking mouth.
Well, he thinks he's an expert because remember, he used to sell hash, right?
Oh, hoopty fucking ding dong. The fucking bikers in Montreal gave you hash, and what, you're an expert? Go fuck yourself. I would definitely much rather listen to a chick whose name's is like fucking Precious, and you know what I mean? She's got like multicolored fucking dreadlocks. That bitch knows what she's talking about. Hook me up. You know what I mean?
You'll see her on 420. She's always celebrating and protesting. Right? Let's have another update. Now, we've talked about this story a lot. This makes us all angry, and it's, so the first sentencing has come through for one of the, I don't even want to say gentlemen, one of these assholes involved in the swatting hoax that had the guy killed. So this guy looks like, I mean, an even uglier Mr. Burns. I can't even just, like, he's got no chin. He's got a crazy curly hair and just the hugest nose. He's just not attractive. I don't care. This guy got somebody killed. It's his fault. So Tyler Barris, he was in Wichita, Kansas, and he pled guilty And he was sentenced to 20 years in federal prison. So good luck to you, Tyler. You're definitely going to be somebody's bitch.
Yeah, go fuck yourself, you
Well, no, federal prison's actually pretty nice.
It doesn't matter.
It's mostly
You're
like
going to
county.
be someone's bitch.
But that's what I've heard. It's mostly like the county jails, like that you got to really watch the butthole. But yeah, no, they fucking deserve it. I had no sympathy at all over some internet beef. No, it's not worth it.
I'm not in jail, and I still have to watch my butthole.
This wasn't even the guy involved in the disputes, by the way. This isn't even the guy involved in the disputes. This is the buddy of one of the other guys that was mad, and he called in the actual SWAT. So it'll be interesting to see what the other two guys get. I'll definitely be watching.
But see, this is kind of what gets me a little bit with people who are accomplices to a crime. If you really think you're going to get away with it, knowing you were a part of it, you're dead wrong. That's number one. And number two, this is what happens to you. I mean, 20 years in federal prison, I mean, that's intense. That's guaranteeing yourself that for the rest of your life, you will never, ever, ever get a job.
No.
Ever.
Yeah.
No, nothing more than like, unfortunately, like, but flipping burgers somewhere. You know what I mean? Like you're fucked. But it's
that. You know what I mean?
Like it's really hard to feel sympathy. And
I feel zero.
I feel sympathy for a lot of fucking convicts coming out of jail that can't get work. You know what I mean? I really do, because I understand the whole crime of passion, and I get that. I get that kind of stuff. But like it's true. Like with cases like this, like I do feel a little bit of vindication where it's like, yeah, good, fuck you. You know.
But I had a conversation with somebody not too long ago about this. It was my friend yesterday, actually. Interestingly enough, we're talking about jail. And I like what you said, Arthur. The United States is one of the only countries, really, that doesn't believe in kind of rehabilitating our criminals. We put them in jail, we lock them up. Half of them are suffering from PTSD after they get out because the system has turned into a private thing for profit. And so they are wanting to come back because they don't know what it's like to function outside of it. I mean, I apologize for kind of taking us off topic a little bit here. But I had this discussion with my friend where I said, that's part of the problem with jail. We have this huge stigma where we can't have these people actually find a decent job. Some of them are educated individuals.
At least we're seeing states turn over the voting laws where, these felons, ex-convicts were not allowed to vote. Now you've had Florida, and I think it was Ohio, just turned over so that they can vote now too. Like, it's ridiculous. People should be, if you've served your time, which is the whole point of going to jail.
There it is. Right? And I'm not talking like, like you were just released on a technicality or some bullshit like that. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. You were punished. You accept your punishment, and you went and you did what you were supposed to do. There's no reason to ostracize these people for fucking society after we do that to them. You know what I mean? Yeah. And, I've expressed my views on crime and criminality a lot, and I'm fairly harsh when it comes to that stuff, and I am, and I hold no fucking bars about it. But at the same point in time, I definitely don't believe they should just be kicked out of society.
We have to ready them, especially these young kids who, let's say, go in at 15, 16, 17 years old, who go into jail. We have to ready them for release into the world. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Where they can potentially find a job. Now, am I saying we should trust them with people's social security numbers and identifications and documents that are so important? I don't know. That's up for discussion. But I am saying that we should at least give them the opportunity to move on up on the ladder and actually get a decent job, and not just flipping burgers. I know that term is so derogatory.
But I mean, at least a place to move up and have a livable life and have a family and have a decent life. If you're not committing crimes again and again, you should be allowed to have a life.
Especially if it's a first time offense.
Yeah.
But for me, it's not just like the flipping burger thing. You know what I mean? I like that term just because it's a menial job. You never really move up. But like, it's exactly that. If these people are truly rehabilitated, if that's what it is we're striving for, you know what I mean? Like actual rehabilitation, then they should have the opportunity to live a life where they see like, oh, I can just put my fucking head down and do the work and move ahead in life. I don't have to go back and start doing the same shit I was.
Yeah, I don't have to hustle.
But everybody... I think that some of us tend to forget everybody has a past, and a crime is only a crime when you get caught.
Well, and there it is.
Like, let's be frank about that. Like, a crime is really only ever going to be a crime when you get caught doing it. There are people, and I'm not heading there. I am not specifically talking about 45. I'm not talking about the trial of the century that never happened. But there are people who have done things blatantly into our faces who will never face criminal punishment.
Yep.
And I understand where some of these groups come out and say, this is bullshit. The system is rigged. The system, yeah, I hate to say it, but the system is rigged.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely.
You know? System is rigged. Sorry.
100%.
It has to be. If it wasn't, how the hell are families that have, established some sort of power like 400, 500 years ago still fucking holding on to power? You know what I mean? You can't do that in a fair and just, even fucking system that's here for all of us. That shit just doesn't work. Like, it doesn't fucking work. But
well, the governor of California said it best, Gavin Newsom, who said, "I would rather be rich and guilty than poor and innocent."
Yeah, fucking right. Fucking right.
It's true though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's do another. I don't know if this is an update, but it's an add-on to a story we've talked a lot about. Alex Jones.
Yeah.
He had his position for this lawsuit. He's being sued by the families of the Sandy Hook victims.
Yeah.
He's claimed multiple times that it was a false flag, that it never happened. It was a hoax. It was an illusion. I don't know. But he'd said he's an actor.
Yeah.
And that he's playing a character.
Yep.
Now he said this week under questioning that he had some, quote, form of psychosis, end quote, that caused him to believe certain events like Sandy Hook were staged.
So he's now actually admitting to us that he was lying the whole time, right?
Yeah. He says, I myself have almost had a form of psychosis back in the past, not now, where I basically thought everything was staged. And even though I've now learned a lot of the times things aren't staged, I think as a pundit, someone giving an opinion that, my opinions have been wrong, but they were never wrong consciously to hurt people.
Oh,
what?
He's just
purposefully hurting people.
Right?
Yeah.
He's just doubling down. He's literally just doubling down, trying to save face with his fucking subscribers. Yeah. He still wants to sell his vitamins or whatever fucking testosterone pills.
This is where the law does us wrong. Okay, so slander and libel are only slander and libel if proven to be false, which in this situation it's proven to be false, right? But if you genuinely believe, like if Arthur genuinely believes that I am a whore and he keeps saying that, yes, I can sue him, but if he genuinely believes that, the law is bent.
Yeah, exactly.
You get what I'm saying? But in this situation, and I don't know how many people were listening to him, how many people were believing him, but in this situation for Alex Jones, he's guilty.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
absolutely.
Hello.
Yeah, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He said it, he fucking meant it, and he continued to reiterate his nonsense. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
The unfortunate thing is, though, and the reason why, he might have to pay some money, but he'll never face any kind of criminal shit, like especially for libel or slander, is because of your First Amendment.
Yeah.
You have freedom of speech. Like, he can literally say whatever the fuck he wants, right? And without infringing on that right, which is obviously a very hot topic,
the hottest topic,
right? What do you do? Like, what do you do? Because it's fair. We should
the only way to punish somebody like him is through the wallet. This is why his videos on YouTube have been removed. He can't monetize those anymore.
No, he's been completely removed from fucking Twitter. The only place you can find his stuff now, which is kind of upsetting for me because, again, like I love watching him and just pissing myself laughing, is you have to go and subscribe to fucking InfoWars. And no, I'm not subscribing to fucking InfoWars. For me as a person who I am, God, I feel like this is almost so wrong of me to say, I'm a staunch believer in the First Amendment. I really do, just like I'm a staunch believer of the Second Amendment. Yep.
With regularities, of course.
Yeah.
But I'm so conflicted in my feelings about things like this because at one point, yes, I do think we should be able to say how we should say it. But then if you start to take things away from people like Alex Jones, then your own beliefs, your own rights get taken away from you too.
But here's the thing. He has never been jailed for what he says. No. This is the thing that people forget when it comes to freedom of speech. He still has the freedom of speech. Yep. But it's also the freedom of a company to say, we don't want you on our sites.
And that's
but that's a part of freedom of speech. Yes. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah.
You know, so I was watching the Joe Rogan podcast about last month, and he had the two people that run Twitter on there, and they were just asking them about, you know, people being removed from the platform and why they're being demonetized and yada yada yada. And that's essentially what it boils down to: is, well, we own it. We don't like what you're saying, so we removed you from our platform. That's well within our legal rights. And you can't argue that. There's no fucking argument against that, especially if you believe in freedom of speech.
If I owned a bar and I would, you know, played I like a certain type of music, say I liked rock music, and that's who's going to play in my bar. I'm not suddenly going to have some gangster rapper come in and start playing. That's not who I like.
Exactly. And you're well within your rights. You know, I know we had this conversation with the baker that refused to serve the gay couple. And as disgusting as it is, you know what I mean? It's a fucked up, bigoted way to refuse someone's service. I still feel like that's well within their rights. You know, like, if I walked into, like, you know, a black-owned bakery or what the fuck ever have you, they're like, well, we don't want to serve straight white people. Well, fuck, man, what can I do about that?
Yeah.
I'm not going to cry on the internet.
Take a shit in the restaurant like that lady at Tim Hortons.
But that's why I agreed with the Supreme Court ruling with the Christian baker on the cake. Because I explained this so much to my friends, especially a friend of mine who was very upset with me with how I explained it. I apologize deeply for your feelings, but it's the truth. They were not denied cake. They were denied a wedding cake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Freedom of religion means that you are free to practice your religion and not practice any kind of religion as well.
Right.
So, in order to...
Oh, I just want to say, because this made me think. I came home from work one night, and Marley was on a group Snapchat with her friends, and her friends, all of them, including Marley, except for one, was saying that they all thought the N-word should be made illegal.
You can't.
And I said to them, I said, you know, this is the problem, is when you start to make words that hurt you. Because she's like, one of the girls is like, I really feel like that's like a word that hurts people and it's like a physical pain. And I'm like, well, that may be. I'm like, but once you start allowing people to make words illegal, where does it stop?
Where does it stop?
And I'm like, you know, society makes things unacceptable, and in a way it becomes a societally unacceptable, then it's kind of like you're ostracized from the community if you use those words, which is how Nazis are treated, how extreme racists are treated, or homophobes. We ostracize them. We don't like them. And to her point, but it really hurts people. And I'm like, you know what? I'm as liberal as people come. I'm like, you are a snowflake, sweetheart. And she was so upset that I called her a snowflake, but I'm like, you really are.
But there it is, though, right? I think a lot of that, though, especially why the young people are kind of on the forefront of that kind of sentiment, is because they do not understand the power of human language and communication. Communication is the biggest fucking thing for us. We need the right to communicate. And even if what I want to communicate is wrong, offensive, fucking abhorrent, bigoted, racist, whatever the fuck it may be, I should have every right to express myself how I need to express myself to get my point across, right?
Yeah.
And I'm in complete agreement. So you can't start banning words. You can't fucking do it.
Then it's books, then it's movies, then it's songs, then it's, you know.
You can't stop people from feeling hurt. Like if I all of a sudden said, oh, Jacqueline, this is an example. I don't like the fact that your hair is too red, let's say, pretending.
Right.
And she feels hurt about that. You have to take responsibility for your emotions as well.
Yeah.
As an individual, I believe that. Because a lot of the times, I think we tend to overreact to things, maybe because you're having a bad day or you're not feeling so well or whatever it is. And that's okay. You're allowed to have that. But I'm allowed to be able to say how I see fit at the time. Yep. Now, I try not to be disrespectful. I think we all try not to be, right? But there are times where you can't help it. You just utter the word fuck out of nowhere and you're pissed.
Well, it's not even that. Like, for me, another big thing is, like, I personally feel that the right to insult somebody is a human fucking right. If you piss me off, I should have the fucking right to insult you, to call you a fucking name. Now, I get it, and there's words that I don't use because they are rooted in some very evil fucking shit, you know what I mean? And just to kind of avoid the nonsense altogether, fine, fuck it, man. I'll take that out of the lexicon. Like, it's okay. It doesn't bother me. I can still call you a plethora of other fucking
and
words.
that's the thing, is you're also have enough intelligence that you don't have to resort to basic, like what somebody looks like or what their sexuality is.
Fuck no. I'll never make fun of someone for the lowest common denominator. That's weak. Yeah. That's fucking weak. You know what I mean? Like, I want to get highbrow with it. I want you to go home and sleep at night and be like, wait, what the fuck did this motherfucker say to me?
Yeah. You hippie?
Right? Oh, fuck, that one got me. But no,
this is the thing I've said a million times. Words only have the power we give them.
Yep, absolutely.
Yes.
Well, and so in the vein of that conversation that Marley and her friends are having, so if the word's outlawed and banned, does that also include people of color? Because the second you start saying it's good for some but not for others, well, fuck you, because that's how Trump got elected. You know what I mean? You want to push more people to the far right. You want to increase this growing fucking sentiment of rage and just fucking discourse. That's how you do it.
Yeah. But that's what I think is slowly happening, not just in the United States. Maybe it's happening here so quickly, but really kind of all over the world, because people, our generation, Arthur, we feel like we're being censored so much.
Absolutely.
I find myself sometimes, I can't discuss this on the air because it's someone else's private business. I find myself sometimes agreeing with what the Trumpers are thinking because, but Jesus Christ, this is true. I don't want to be fined if I didn't have health insurance. I don't want to, do this. I don't want to have to do that. Why can't, thank God I have half a brain to be able to function without believing that Donald Trump is going to save me. But, I get the mentality. I get it, because there's so many snowflakes, unfortunately, walking this earth feeling like they are special individuals. And, like, for every day I was called fat and ugly and feminine and Asian and all these things that I've been called my whole life, I think I would have killed myself if I let it get to me.
Absolutely.
Take responsibility for your goddamn self. I believe that.
It's just a shame. It's just an absolute shame that we even have to have a conversation, and not just us. I just mean like the public in general, where we're honestly debating on whether or not we should implement some Orwellian fucking dystopian.
But it made me happy that the kids were having a debate on something.
No,
like
absolutely.
This, in the sense that at least they weren't just talking about like the Dolan twins or
you're absolutely correct.
Logan Paul. So I was happy about that. I saw the girl a couple days later. I was driving her home. Marley said she was scared to get in the car. She thought I was going to yell at her, and I said, "No, I'm like, sweetie, I'll never be mad at you for your political opinions.
Hell no.
I'm like, because you have the freedom of expression, and that's one of my key points I was trying to make. We all get to express ourselves."
Yep. Yeah, and you can't infringe on that. You know what I mean? Like, you just can't do it. But I mean, no, I agree. I'm definitely happy to hear that Marley's having these types of conversations. It's great. It's great knowing that her and her friends have the social conscious enough to actually know that, the world's going through a social change right now, and it's important for us all to kind of.
And it's a strong social change. This is the kind of social change that I think was happening, at least in the United States of America. With the Black Civil Rights Movement.
Yeah, exactly.
I think this is on that scale. The younger generation, they're fighting for what they believe is important to them now.
I think their heart's in the right place. They want to stop people from being hurt. I understand their position, but my position was just like, it just becomes a slippery slope.
No, yeah. Well, and that's the thing too, though. Bill Maher kind of said something similar on one of his recent shows, where it's people are so scared to be on the receiving end of outrage culture that they're just starting to agree with some of the more crazier ideas, like banning words. You know what I mean? So rather than you being attacked by the fucking cult of continual fucking outrage online, you just toe the line. You just go along with whatever nonsense they're saying. You believe the arguments wholeheartedly, which, again, like, if any young people are listening, don't ever just listen to somebody and fucking take what they're saying as truth. Like, fucking think about it. Like, put some goddamn thought into it. You're only doing yourself a favor by living your life that way. And the rest of us too, I guess, because I don't have to listen to your fucking idiocy. You know what I mean? But no, it's great. It's very heartwarming to know that the young people are discussing this. They're getting their ideals out there. I just kind of wish
at that age, I can't recall ever talking not only just about politics, other than outside of class.
Yeah.
We were too busy recording ourselves on cassette singing. We didn't need at that age.
See,
remember talking about stuff like that.
I was a punk rocker, so like politics is what was like, that was our fucking thing, you know what I mean? But at that point in time, it was all like anarchy and fuck it all, burn the system, like. But then it got me thinking, right? Like, it got me thinking, it got me more conscious. The one thing I do wish young people would do, and I know me and Ryan have expressed this view plenty of times, and I know you have too, Jacqueline, is stop just listening to people that fucking agree with what you already feel. Yeah. Listen to the people that have ideas that you don't necessarily hold. And that's how you broaden your horizons.
Bill Maher. I know a lot of people don't always agree with him, and I don't agree with everything he says.
Same here.
But he makes valid points. He brings on people with different opinions, and he questions them, and he tries to hold them accountable. He never gives a self-interview.
Nope.
I've found myself to be, even on the gay platform, right? I'm a gay male. All jokes aside, I know I always call myself a woman. I'm a gay male.
Yeah.
I have found myself to be this kind of ostracized elephant whale in the room that's sitting in the corner trying to be ignored, but I'm too big to somewhat be ignored, you know, because I have these I've expressed this, I have very conservative ideals, but I am liberal in a way for some. I found as I've gotten older that I have to stick to my core ideals. Sometimes when you shake yourself too much, you're going to turn into slush.
Yep.
And you're going to be separated. I'm not going to be one thing on the outside and another thing when the doors are closed. So that's very important for the young generation, these 18-year-olds, 12-year-olds that are growing up, to realize you don't want to be, you know, when you leave slushy out, you get that separation between the ice and just the liquid on the bottom. And when you suck too hard and you get that bottom part, it's all sweet. But then you get that very bland red, like cherry, that red thing. You don't want to be that. I don't want to be that individual. So for me, I believe in consistency. I believe in growth, but I also believe in consistency. Yes, you want to be an individual that just has diversity within yourself, because part of the problem with the other thing, the complete opposite, Arthur, right? Because you and I speak about this all the time, is that people stick to what they like.
Well, and that's
all there is. So if it's chicken fingers, it's just chicken fingers forever.
Yeah, they never challenge anything. They never challenge their own personal stance, their own personal beliefs. And, you know, I'll admit that I've done a lot of growing in the last few years. I've done a lot of growing. I have changed my position on a lot of things. But there's just some that I won't. I can't. And I cannot get aboard this insane fucking liberal nonsense that's being pushed right now. I just can't fucking do it. You know, and I've talked to people that can put together fairly eloquent arguments to why I should. And I'm like, no, this doesn't make sense. Yeah. This makes literally no sense. Yeah. Well, and it's because a lot of the things these people are pushing are for the few. Now, I understand it's always been the few that have been getting the short end of the stick. So I get that, and if we're trying to progress to a point where we are like completely equal, and you know, not only just equal of opportunity, but you know, somewhat the quality of outcome as well, then yeah, we have to start pushing these boundaries. But like, I just won't be a victim to fucking outrage culture. I won't do it. I won't fucking do it. Like, I'm sorry.
Outrage culture is what got us 45.
Exactly.
Outrage culture is what got us Duterte.
If you ever get the chance, and I mean, I know it's disgusting, but if you honestly ever get the chance and you start seeing some of these alt-righter people pop up on Facebook, just go and look at them. Most of these people started off as what I'd consider fairly progressive, but then they said one wrong thing, and the fucking outrage addicts jumped down their throat, and then the alt-right was like, hey, man, you can fucking think whatever you want to think with us. Because you have that freedom of fucking speech. And this is why the far right is growing. Because you have these people with such just strong fucking opinions where like, no, sorry, man, if you won't date a trans person, you're transgender or transphobic and should probably kill yourself. What? Yeah. What? So you're telling me that my personal choice is completely fucking thrown out the window because of your feelings? That's not how you're going to fucking... No, I'm sorry. Fuck you. Fuck you.
But people are afraid to handle themselves, right? People are afraid to be able to litigate themselves with another person. I feel like a lot of the time where we just become so quiet. These are the people that become quiet in the corner again, who choose to just what's the word, like, you know, like talking to themselves almost, like they make themselves go crazy.
Yeah.
And so they become these alt-righters. God, I'm not going to say it because that's offensive. They become these alt-righters who, it's dangerous because you always, everything in life is a slippery slope.
Yeah.
If you tend to stick to that and you want to be all sensy and you want to be fucking sentimental every single fucking second, it's never going to get you anywhere.
No.
You know what I mean? It's never going to get you anywhere.
And like, that's cool. If you want to live your life, like, you know, causing no one any grief ever and fucking, you know, tiptoeing around anything that might be considered offensive, by all means, that's your prerogative. Fucking live your life. I'm not going to tell anyone how to live their lives. But at the same point in time, do not ever think you have the right to tell me how to live mine, how to fucking think, how to feel, how to view the world, who the fuck I can and cannot find attractive. Don't stop putting fucking labels on me. Like, I kind of lost my shit a little bit when I was talking to my brother-in-law when he said the word cisgendered. And I was like, why'd you make this shit up? Like, this ain't fucking real, man. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm straight. Like, don't fucking put another goddamn label out there just to fucking, like, you know what I mean? Like, to kind of deplatform my fucking side, because this is how you ended up with fucking 45. I knew a lot of people that were A-okay with, you know, the whole bathroom issue and transgendered rights. And then the second this shit started coming around, where you had people going, oh, well, you're just some cisgendered fucking. So now they're pissed. Now their back's against the wall. They're fucking fighting back. And the only way they could fight back was to join a bigger group of fucking bigots and racists and homophobes and xenophobes and just the worst of the fucking worst.
Yeah, and that's the problem, is because we can't let ourselves become manipulated that way, because the right and the extreme right and extreme left. We're not talking about the normal people. We're talking about the extremes on both sides.
Absolutely.
They're manipulating us to hate each other, and the more we hate each other, the more we're going to get pulled to one of those sides.
Division sells advertisements. You know what I mean? Like, it's filling the pockets of the people that don't give a fuck if we live or die, and they're the ones pulling the strings. Like, just stop playing into their shit. Like, I might not like you for some reason or another, but you're still a human, and you're still going to get that basic level of human respect. And as long as I think we all just kind of adopt that mindset, you know what I mean? Like, where it's like, well, fuck you. I don't really like you, but I'm not going to, you know, go out of my way to cause you any kind of fucking undue grief. Then we're all going to be fucking better off. Like, we'll all be better off.
If that's possible with human nature. Let's talk really quickly. I want to talk about this story. I know we only got about 5 minutes left, but this story just enraged me when I heard it. This is way before I went away. It's coming out from March 8th when it was published. The story of a 6-year-old boy in Oregon, lived on a farm with his parents. He cut his forehead. His parents cleaned the wound, stitched it up. 6 days later, he got lockjaw. Now, I remember growing up, I was terrified of tetanus and lockjaw. I never knew why, but I'd heard the term lockjaw, and I thought I wouldn't be able to eat and I would die. So, he has to get rushed to the hospital. He's having problems breathing. He's got a stiff neck and arms and body spasms. It cost $800,000 to fix him up.
Fucking Christ. Just
because
kill me.
He never had a tetanus shot, right? Now, once he was healed and feeling better, the doctor said, we need to give him a second shot, like a booster shot, to get full vaccination. The parents said no and took the kid home.
What?
Yeah.
What exactly is, okay, don't laugh at me, both of you.
It's okay.
Don't crack up. What exactly is the story, though? Is the story the $800,000 bill, or is that the parents refused a second
That the parents
shot?
actually had the first case of tetanus in how many decades in their child and still refused to give him another vaccination, and now have an $800,000 medical bill to pay, and still refused to vaccinate, living on a farm at that.
That's where I'm going with this. Arthur, did you kind of get where I was going with that? It's a little confusing for me because...
Well, there's a few things to unpack with this, right? Like, there's a few things where it's just like, well, I mean, should I be mad at the American medical system for fucking, you know what I mean? Like, should I be mad at these idiot fucking homeopath parents that think, like, you know, like, there's just a lot, there's some layers to this kind of shit. But fuck,
like, my hairs went up on both counts of the $800,000.
And you're right,
$800,000
is ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. Like, if I ever need an $800,000 anything, just put me down. Like, I don't fucking care anymore. Like, I am not paying that kind of money to fix myself. Just kill me. It's cheaper.
An ambulance ride is averagely about $5,000 in the United States of America.
Do you know how much it is here, Ryan? $45.
Yeah.
No. That's if you don't have insurance. Again, I'm going with that's if you don't have insurance. It's averagely about $5,000.
$45. here, whether you have insurance or not. That's Ontario. That's
Yep.
Toronto. I know it might be different in other places, but in Toronto, it's $45.
Yep.
To anti-vaxxers, let me just say this quickly because I know we've got like a few minutes left. To anti-vaxxers, I understand that you have the freedom to do as you please with your children, raise them how you want to. That's on you. Good for you. But please, I have a beautiful, healthy niece that I want to see grow up. I already fear school shootings. I already fear crazy groups of people attacking her for the color of her skin and for the race that she is, the ethnic background that she is. Do I even have to fear for her safety because you choose to not vaccinate your children from diseases that we have found easy fixes for?
Right? Because you know what I'd really love? What would have made my childhood so much better? Living it out in an iron lung. That would have been great. Like I'm really upset that I didn't get fucking polio.
We have this story, and I don't know if you guys, I don't have the details. I never saw it because I saw it when I was away. How the police force kicked in the door at somebody's house where they were concerned about the child's health because the parents wouldn't take the child to the doctor, and the homeopathic doctor actually reported them to Children's Aid, and the parents refused to open the door, so they got a warrant from the judge, and they kicked in the door and took custody of the child to the hospital. Why isn't something like this happening with the child? I'm sorry. He lives on a farm. You're exposed to all kinds of disgusting things on a farm, rusty nails and such. When I was a child, I don't remember any of this. When I was little, I stepped on a rusty nail. I had a planter's wart. I went right into the planter's wart, and I got very sick. I was in Sick Kids Hospital here in Toronto for a long time, my mom said. So,
okay.
Yeah.
On one little good bit of news about that whole anti-vax thing, I can't remember exactly the country, but it was one of the Scandinavian countries. They said flat out that homeopathic doctors or whatever medical treatment will no longer be covered by universal healthcare because it's not actual fucking medicine. I love it. I fucking love it. I want Canada to implement the same fucking thing. Stop giving money to these fucking morons, like, because they're actual medical professionals, because they're not. Like, they're not. Like, I'm sorry. I don't care that you're like a 17th generation fucking witch doctor, bud. I don't fucking care. I don't care. Suck a dick. You're not a doctor. And
we don't have time to talk about it. Maybe we'll talk about it on Thursday. There is a lot of places right now. I know that there's some medical clinics out in Saskatchewan and Alberta saying, if you're not vaccinated, don't come to our clinic.
Yeah, fucking A.
Which is fantastic.
Should be the case.
Yeah, we have a new listener. Their name is Shaver Bushoff. And they're very upset by our language, apparently, and they're going to report us. So thank you for listening, Shaver Bushoff.
Yeah, fuck you too.
I told you to listen, you'll get commented on. So thank you. If you guys are around, we'll be back on Thursday. And thanks for listening.
Except for that asshole.
Yeah.